So this video is going to be over the equations checkpoint. So question 1 says solve the equation. So we have the word solve, so that means we are going to solve for whatever x equals. So whenever we're solving for equations, remember we have dumpsters contain very nasty stuff, which is distribute, combine like terms, move the variable over to one side of the equal sign, then move the number to one side of the equal sign, and then solve by division or multiplication, depending on what the instance is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite this. So they give us 1 equals 9 minus 2x. Here's my equal sign. I'm going to draw an imaginary line so that way I can distinguish the two sides of this expression and this expression. All right, so distribute. We don't have any parentheses, we don't need to distribute. Combine like terms, we're just looking at one side, don't need to, we can't combine any of these, can't combine anything over here, so we skip to the variable. Now we already have a variable on this side, but no variable on this side of the equal sign. So having the variable on one side is our goal, so we can skip that part. Now we want to get the number on the opposite side of what the variable is on. So as we can see, we have a 9 here that's on the same side that this negative 2x is on. So we're going to have to cancel out this 9 and bring it over here. In order to do that is to get it equal to 0, which is taking the inverse operation, so negative 9. And if I subtract 9 on one side of the equal sign, I have to subtract 9 on the other side of the equal sign. So that cancels out. Then I'm going to rewrite my equation. So we get 1 minus 9, or negative 9 plus 1, which is negative 8, is equal to, bring down our negative 2x. All right, so we got the number on one side. We got variable equal to number, so now we can solve. We have a negative 2x times x, or excuse me, we have a negative 2 times x. So we're going to divide by that negative 2, include the signs and everything on both sides. So x is going to be equal to negative 8 divided by negative 2, which is positive 4. So D would be the best answer. All right, so on number 2, I'm going to rewrite it. We get negative 3 plus 5, open parentheses, x plus 6 is equal to 37. All right, same step, distribute. We are going to have to distribute because we have parentheses. What do we distribute? We distribute whatever term is on the left side of the outside of the parentheses, which happens to be a positive 5. We're not going to distribute the 3. This negative 3 is separated from this plus sign, so it's a separate term. So we're only going to distribute the 5. So that means we're going to say 5 times 1x, multiplying, and then 5 times 6, and then rewrite this expression without any parentheses. All right, so negative 3 was a separate term, so it stays on its own. We get 5 times 1x, which is just positive 5x, and then 5 times 6, which is 30. So we rewrote that, bring down our 37. All right, so we distributed, so now we need to see if we can combine like terms. So this is our new equation. So we have a negative 3, 5x, and a 30. As you can see, we only have one variable, but we have two numbered terms on their own. So 30 minus 3 will get you 27. So we're going to rewrite that as 27. We have that 5x term still, plus 5x is equal to, bring down our 37. All right, now, so we have a new equation, 27 plus 5x equals 37. So now we move on to variable. Well, we already have a variable, so here's our equal sign. We already have a variable term on one side of our equal sign, so we can skip this step and move on to number. Because we have a 27 and a 37 over here, we have to get rid of a number, get rid of this number somehow, and bring it over here. How are we going to do that? We're going to take inverse operation of minus 27, minus 27. That cancels out. Bring down your 5x equals to 37 minus 27. We'll get 10. So now we have 5x equals 10. We're on the last step of solve. Divide by positive 5, divide by positive 5. X is going to be equal to 2, which is B. All right, let's look at this one. So solve the equation. I'm going to rewrite it. 5x plus 2 equals negative 4x minus 7. All right, so here's our equal sign. We don't need to distribute. We don't need to combine like terms because this is a term, this is a term, this is a term, this is a term. Can't combine any on this side, can't combine any on this side. So we skip that, move on to variable. We have variables on both sides, so I'm going to have to get rid of a variable somehow. I'm going to get rid of this -4, and we're going to say plus 4x. And if I plus 4x on this side, I have to plus 4x on this side. But I have to keep it with a variable. Got to keep variables with variables, numbers with numbers. So this is going to cancel out. I'm going to rewrite my equation. So 5 plus 4, 9. We get 9x. Bring down the positive 2 is equal to, bring down our -7. All right, so now we're on number. Got the variable on one side, so now we need to get the number on one side. So we're going to get rid of this positive 2 and say -2. Rewrite my equation. That cancels out. -7 minus 2 is a -9. So now we're on the last step of solve. 9 times x divided by 9 divided by positive 9. -9 divided by positive 9 is -1. So you should get A for the answer. All right, let's move on to the fraction. So again, we still have dumpsters contain very nasty stuff, but whenever we have a fraction, let's say a fraction, get rid of the fractions becomes the very first step. So I guess we could say fancy dumpsters contain very nasty stuff. All right, so we identified a fraction. How are we going to get rid of that? We have to find the lowest common denominator of the lowest common multiple of the denominator, which is called the lowest common denominator. All right, so lowest common multiple. So I'm gonna circle our denominators. We have a 2 and a 6. First, I'm going to rewrite my equation. So x over 2 minus 5 is equal to x divided by 6 plus 10. All right, so we said 2 and 6. So I'm going to put 2 and 6 over here, and we're going to write out the multiples. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. And the multiples of 6, we have 6, 12, 18, and so on. So anything lower than 6, we can eliminate. Now look at that. Lowest common multiple, the smallest number that they both share, are 6. So what that means is we take 6 and multiply it by both sides of the expression. So I'm going to put parentheses. Let me identify our equal sign first. So that means I'm going to put parentheses around each expression, like that, and parentheses around this expression. And we're going to multiply both sides by the lowest common multiple, or lowest common denominator, of 6. So fractions is your first step. So now we're going to distribute. So denominator goes into our lowest common multiple 3 times. So 6 divided, what I'm doing is 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 3 times 1x is 3x. So this term right here gets rewritten as 3x. Now we have another term over here, -5, and we're going to distribute the 6 to this -5 as well. So we're going to say 6 times -5, which is -30. Bring down your equal sign. All right, so now we're on this side. Again, we have 2 terms. So this 6 is going to get distributed to this term, and the 6 is also going to get distributed to this term right here. All right, so starting with this term, 6 divided by 6, or 6 goes into 6 one time, and then 1 times 1x is just x. All right, so now we're moving on to the second term. 10 times 6 is 60, so I'm going to say plus 60. So we get a new equation that's right here. All right, so now I'm going to solve like I normally would using these steps. So got rid of the fractions, we distributed. We don't need to combine like terms. We have a variable on both sides, so we're going to need to move a variable over. So I'm going to say -1x, -1x. Remember, I'm keeping my variables with my variables. So that's going to cancel out. 3 minus 1 is 2x. Bring down this -30 is equal to, bring down this 60. Great. Do I have here's my equal sign. Do I have a variable just on one side of the equal sign? Yes, I do. So now I got to get a number on one side of the equal sign, the opposite side of where the variable is. So that means I'm going to have to get rid of this 30. So that way we just have a variable term equal to a number term. So to get rid of this 30, I'm going to add 30, get it equal to 0, add 30 over here, keeping my numbers with numbers, rewrite my equation. So we get 2x is equal to 90. All right, so now we've got the number on one side, so now we're going to solve by using division. So we got 2 times x, we're going to divide by exactly what that coefficient is, 2. Divide by 2, and x is equal to whatever 90 divided by 2 is, which is going to be 45. So D is the best answer. All right, so now we move on to a word problem. So it tells us 2 8th grade classes are selling tickets to raise money for their school fundraiser. Okay, so already we know we're going to remember we're going to have scenarios, 2 different scenarios. We got scenario 1, scenario 2, and it looks like they're probably going to be people, so 2 8th grade classes or groups of people, 2 different classes. One class is selling tickets for $3.50 each. Oh, there's our variable word. Remember our variable words per, every, and each. And remember our constant words are has, was, starting, anything like that, or have, anything that's a starting amount initially. Oops, can't spell initially. So these are our words for our constant or numbers on its own, which is a number, and this is for our variable term. So these are our variable keywords, and this is our number on its own term. So $3.50 each. So one class. So I'm just going to say this is class A, and this is class B. All right, so one class is selling tickets for $3.50 each. So that means I'm going to set up $3.50x. We know that $3.50 is going to be multiplied by something, and they already raised $250. So already raised, how much they already have? $250. Or you could write this as $250 plus $3.50x. All right, the other class is selling tickets for $2.25 each. There's our variable word. So 2.25 each, and already raised 300, so plus 300. Or you could write it as 300 plus 2.25x. So these are 2 different terms. Terms can be rearranged as long as they're on one side of the equal sign. And so far, we only know that these are expressions. So we can move these around, only these around with each other, and then we can move these around only with each other. Terms, anyway. Right, so it's asking which equation to be used to solve the number of tickets each class would have to sell so that the total amount raised is the same. Keyword is the same. So we're not going to have an inequality. We're going to have a equal sign between the two. So whenever it says it wants us to solve x or set up an equation and it says the same, that means we're going to set the 2 expressions equal to each other to become an equation. All right, so now we just got to look at the answer choices that best match this up. Okay, so 350x is equal to 225x. Well, it's true that they're on opposite sides. However, this equation is not including the constants of 250 and 300. So that can't be it. All right, 350x plus 250. Okay, that looks good so far. Equals 225x plus 300. Ooh, this one looks good so far. All right, 350x minus 250. No, we're calculating the total cost. So we're not subtracting anything, so that can't be it. All right, 350x plus 250x. Well, these are 2 variables on one side, and each scenario has to have their own variable, so this can't be it. So B is the best answer. All right, let's look at this last one. All right, what value makes x, or which value of x makes the equation true? So we get 0.6r, which is our variable. It's the same as x. If you want to rewrite it to x, go for it. Plus 3 equals 0.1 r minus 7. All right, so we treat these just like, we don't have to do anything special with these numbers. We treat this just like any other equation if they were integers. So, do we need to distribute? No. There's no fraction, so do we need to combine any like terms? So looking at just this side, we have a variable plus a number, can't combine. variable minus number. Can't combine. We got these different terms here that can be combined. All right, so variable. Yes, we have a variable both sides, so we need to get rid of one. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this one. So we got 0.1r, so I'm going to say minus 0.1r. And if I do it on this side, I have to do it to the same variable on this side. Not with this one, but with this one. So minus 0.1r. All right, so let me just pull my calculator up so that way we can be sure of ourselves. All right, so 0.6r minus 0.1r, we should get 0.5r, 0.5r. That cancels out. Bring down our other terms in our equal sign, minus 7. All right, so we got the variable. So now the number, we got to get the number on the other side. So can't get rid of this one, remember, because we don't want to get it equal to 0. Our goal is to get the variable term equal to the number term. So it only makes sense to get rid of this one since we'll have variable equal to a number. So to get rid of this, I got to subtract 3. And subtract 3 from another constant term or number term. Rewrite my equation, that cancels out. We get 0.5r. Bringing that down, just putting it closer, is equal to negative 7 minus 3. That comes out to negative 10. All right, so now we got a number on one side, variable on the other side. So now we're going to move on to the last step, which is solve by division. So we have 0.5 times r. So I'm going to multiply, or not, I'm sorry, I'm going to divide by 0.5 on both sides. All right, so dividing this because we want to get it equal to just 1r. So negative 10 divided by 0.5. 10 you get r equals negative 20. So it's just a matter of typing everything correct on the calculator as well. So negative 20, so D is going to be the correct answer. And that's the equations checkpoint.